Hello and welcome to Lights Uncorked, the show we break down your favorite made-for-TV movies one bottle at a time. I'm your host, Patrick Serrano, and today we are talking about Kidnapped by a Killer, the Heather Robinson story. Kidnapped by a Killer, the Heather Robinson story stars Steve Guttenberg, Jana Kramer, and Rachel Stubington. Steve Guttenberg plays a creepy uncle named John, who has a special bond with his goddaughter Heather. He pinky promises to tell her about her adoption story when she is older. That's just what it would be, a story, because John killed Heather's mother Lisa and kidnapped her as a baby. John gave the baby to his brother Mike and his wife Jill because they were having trouble conceiving. They don't know about the murder or the kidnapping. The only one who is onto his crimes is Jana Kramer, who plays a parole officer who is hip to John's time in prison for fraud and thinks it's only a matter of time until his next con. Jana Kramer tries to convince detectives and the FBI that John Robinson is responsible for a slew of missing girls. The MO is all the same. A girl goes missing, and shortly after, a typed letter arrives with a forged signature to ease families' worries and prevent the police from filing a missing persons report. Years go by, and Heather is still a typical angsty teenager. She fights with her mother and loves her dad. They go to a wedding and see creepy Uncle John, who still withholds the story from Heather, but he tells her that she is special. So that's nice, I guess. Heather's interest in her adoption story reignites, and she berates her mother into telling her that she was adopted after her mother killed herself in a woman's shelter. Heather is sure her mother is lying and calls Uncle John, who offers to pay for her to come visit him as long as she leaves immediately and doesn't tell her parents. Heather smartly declines this offer. The police are also interested in John as well. They put him under 24-hour surveillance and get enough intel to go get a search warrant. On the property, the detectives find decomposing bodies in barrels and arrest his ass. They link him to at least 8 victims. Mike and Jill claim they have no idea, but since Heather's adoption is invalid and she has no birth records, Heather can't do anything until she turns 18 and gets that birth certificate. Heather goes into therapy and doesn't click with anybody really until she realizes that she is truly special because she is a unique case and resilient enough to overcome a horrible origin story. The therapist poses the question, would Heather want to have never known, or should the truth have come out? Mike and Jill testify at John's trial, and he is put away for life. Heather visits her biological grandmother and sees her uncompleted baby book. She also visits her mother's grave. Heather mourns the opportunities John stole from her and her birth mother. And that is Kidnapped by a Killer, the Heather Robinson story. Lifetime continues its Rip from the Headlines stories, and while I was not familiar with its case, it was very shocking. I thought the movie was very thoughtful about the depiction of the victims and the repercussions of John Robinson's actions without being too torture porny or showing all the murders. It did a good job finding a balance of depicting the horrors without being grotesque. The injustice of the parole officer not being able to convince the FBI and detectives that John Robinson is a murderer / serial killer. It feels like a convenient storyline added by the writers to give Jana Kramer something to do in this movie. The Steve Guttenberg of it all didn't actually matter to the movie. He could have been played by any actor, and the role wasn't a great showcase for a star of his caliber. I am happy to see that he's working though, so good for you, Steve. I would pour it up for this movie because I thought Rachel Stubington ate in this role and she should be in more Lifetime movies. Let me know what you think about the movie in the comments section below and follow the show at Lifetime Uncorked. Or you can follow me at Patrick Miguel. Lifetime Uncorked is also a podcast with hundreds of episodes recapping Lifetime movies. Listen wherever you get your podcasts and visit lifetimeuncorked.com for full reviews. If you like this episode and want to leave a tip on Ko-fi, buy me a glass of wine and I'll keep watching Lifetime. That's it for this week. We will talk to you next week. Bye.